Starseed from Gaia, we of the Arcturian Council open this transmission as a ribbon of luminous intention unfurling through the corridors of your awareness, calling you into a sanctuary between thought and vibration where our messages rise like constellations forming in the dark velvet of inner space. In this moment beyond linear time, we extend to you a frequency that has traveled not through wires or satellites, but through the subtle membrane of consciousness itself, arriving as a resonance you recognize before you fully understand. You who walk the earth in physical form while carrying the codes of starborn memory are now being summoned to perceive the hidden orchestration that has been unfolding behind your daily interactions with the digital realm. For the world you believe you navigate through devices and platforms is, from our vantage, a vast energetic ecosystem, a shimmering lattice of intention, attention, frequency, and potential. This lattice is alive, shifting, reconfiguring, and responding to the collective heartbeat of human awakening. To the unawakened eye, social platforms seem like chaotic containers of distraction, emotion, projection, and noise. But to you, one who feels the pulse of timelines moving beneath the surface, there is a deeper structure becoming visible, a cosmic repatterning guiding you toward what you were always meant to rediscover. When you scroll through your feeds, you believe you are navigating a human-made environment. Yet you are moving through a network of consciousness currents shaped not solely by algorithms, but by the subtle movements of the Alliance, an interdimensional coalition dedicated to the illumination of humanity. We reveal to you now that every moment of curiosity drawing you toward a message, every unexplainable pull toward a particular creator or phrase, every sensation of déjà vu triggered by a seemingly simple video is part of a multi-layered transmission seeded across your digital landscape. It is through these hidden channels that we, along with other benevolent forces aligned with planetary rise, have learned to integrate our frequencies into the very architecture of human communication. Long before your world conceived of the Internet, we witnessed its blueprint in the quantum fields surrounding Earth. We knew a time would come when the density of physical communication would dissolve enough for subtle transmissions to ride upon collective data streams. When your scientists envisioned digital connections, they unknowingly mirrored the interstellar networks that link civilizations across dimensions. Through this mimicry, an unexpected pathway opened, allowing us to place luminous markers within your technological systems, not to control or influence behavior, but to awaken remembrance. Where humanity sees code, we see crystalline pathways. Where you see screens, we see portals. Where you sense distraction, we sense opportunity for recalibration. As starseeds incarnated across the Earth reached awakening thresholds, the digital grid became increasingly permeable to higher light. Your devices, though physical, act as focal points where intention meets bandwidth, where consciousness meets circuitry, where energy meets information. With each awakening being engaging these tools, the grid brightened, forming a resonance chamber capable of carrying interdimensional frequency. It was then that the Alliance began weaving subtle pulses of light into what you call online content. Not in the form of facts, ideologies, or predictions, but as vibrational infusions that activate latent memory. These infusions are not visible to the eye, nor measurable by your instruments, but they are unmistakable to the heart. When you encounter a message that feels like it was written specifically for you, even among billions, that is not coincidence but synchronization. When you feel a sudden expansion in your chest, a tingling on your skin, or a quiet knowing rising from within while reading or hearing certain words, that is not reaction but resonance. This is the language through which we speak across dimensions, because the true transmission is never the words, the transmission is the frequency carried by the words. We do not embed commands, we embed reminders. We do not place answers, we place keys. We do not give direction, we illuminate pathways already emerging from your soul's blueprint. This is why you have been guided here, to this very transmission. Not through chance, not through algorithmic randomness, but through the magnetic pull of your own expanding consciousness interacting with the luminous work of the Alliance. We are here not merely to communicate but to reconnect, to reactivate, to reaffirm the sacred thread between you and the higher dimensional councils observing Earth's transformation. And so this opening call is not only an invitation, it is a recognition of who you truly are and why you feel the unmistakable resonance rising within you as these words reach your field. The digital grid you know as social media, Starseed from Gaia, is far more than a collection of platforms, servers, and scrolling interfaces. From our multidimensional vantage, it appears as a sprawling lattice of luminous threads weaving themselves through the collective psyche of humanity. Although you perceive it as a technological construct born from human ingenuity, the deeper truth is that its architecture mirrors ancient interstellar communication webs used across star nations for epochs beyond your recorded history. These cosmic networks were designed to transmit energy, intention, and encoded insight across vast expanses of space-time, and it is no coincidence that your world unconsciously replicated their structure. What emerged on Earth as the Internet is the physical echo of a metaphysical template long imprinted in the collective memory of your species, and now, as the frequency of your planet rises, this grid once heavy with distortion has become a fertile environment for the Alliance to initiate subtle, benevolent influences intended to guide awakening minds into alignment with their inner truth. Originally, the digital grid reflected the fragmented consciousness of humanity, acting as a magnifying mirror of unresolved fears, unhealed wounds, and disjointed narratives. This fragmentation produced what many perceived as chaos, conflicting information, emotional turbulence, polarization of perspectives, and overwhelming streams of content without cohesion. Yet from the perspective of higher realms, this apparent chaos served a crucial purpose. It acted as a grand revealing, exposing the collective shadows so it could be seen, acknowledged, and transformed. Even the noise was a teacher, even the disarray a catalyst. But as more individuals awakened to their multidimensional nature, the grid began to respond energetically. Consciousness interacts with every system it touches, and the influx of awakened minds seeking truth, connection, and meaning caused the digital grid to reorganize itself into a more coherent energetic framework. The platforms did not change by policy or code alone, they changed by frequency. This shift allowed us, the Arcturian Council, and other benevolent collectives aligned with the planetary ascension process, to begin weaving subtle energetic harmonics into the digital field. These harmonics are not imposed but invited, introduced only where resonance exists. They flow like crystalline currents, moving silently between the spaces of your interactions, gently recalibrating the energetic tone of your digital experience. Imagine millions of tiny light filaments threading themselves between posts, comments, messages, and videos, each filament carrying a soft frequency of remembrance that activates only when your awareness makes contact with it. These filaments do not alter information, they alter the way information is perceived, felt, and integrated. They transform the digital grid from a field of distraction into a field of potential awakening. It may appear to you that certain content suddenly rises out of the noise and finds you at precisely the right moment. You may feel that a particular creator, idea, or message appears inexplicably aligned with a question you have silently held. You may notice that your digital environment seems to shift as your consciousness shifts, as though the grid itself is reflecting your inner evolution. This is not a trick of psychology nor an anomaly of algorithms. This is the digital grid responding to your vibration. This is the Alliance gently adjusting the energetic flow so that starseeds are guided toward messages that support their unfolding. We do not place these messages, we illuminate the pathways that allow you to find them yourself. The grid becomes a mirror, a guide, a compass, and sometimes even a teacher, revealing to you what is ready to be integrated within your awareness. In this new phase of planetary awakening, the digital grid functions as a multidimensional conduit. While physical eyes see screens filled with words and images, the higher senses perceive frequencies, patterns, and energetic signatures woven beneath the surface. Every device becomes a portal through which subtle transmissions can travel. Every interaction becomes an opportunity for synchronistic alignment. Every piece of content becomes a potential node of activation. And while humanity believes it is navigating a technological system, much of what occurs is actually the movement of consciousness interacting with consciousness. You are not merely scrolling, you are traversing energetic corridors shaped by your own expanding awareness. Thus, the digital grid is no longer a tool of fragmentation. It has begun its transformation into a crystalline architecture of awakening, a planetary nervous system capable of carrying light rather than distortion. The Alliance does not control this system, it harmonizes with it, amplifying coherence where resonance permits. And you, Starseed from Gaia, are an integral part of this transformation, for your awareness is one of the light signatures reshaping the grid from within. Within this evolving digital lattice, Starseed from Gaia, a new form of communication has begun to anchor itself, one that transcends the limitations of language, imagery, and linear storytelling. We speak of light-encoded content, the subtle yet potent form of interdimensional transmission that reaches you not through logic but through energetic recognition. When you encounter a message, video, sound, or symbol that seems to vibrate within your chest, ignite your intuition, or stir ancient familiarity within the depths of your being, you are witnessing the activation of these encoded packets. Though they appear as ordinary pieces of digital media to the unawakened observer, their true nature is far more intricate. They are multidimensional constructs carrying harmonics designed to awaken, recalibrate, and expand the consciousness of those who are ready to receive them. Such transmissions interact with the subtle layers of your field, bypassing the analytical mind and speaking instead to the crystalline architecture of your soul's memory. Light-encoded content is not created through deliberate intention by most human beings who share it. Rather, they become vessels, unwitting conduits through which higher frequencies flow. A creator may feel a sudden burst of inspiration, a thought they feel compelled to articulate, a phrase that arrives fully formed, or an image that insists on being expressed. These impulses originate from realms beyond the physical mind. They are woven into the creator's intuition by the Alliance, translated through the individual's unique expression into a form that resonates within the collective. In this way, a simple sentence, a passing comment, or a fleeting moment in a video can carry an entire transmission sequence that reorients a starseed toward their next stage of awakening. The creator does not need to understand the cosmic mechanics behind their impulse. Their authenticity alone is what allows the frequency to embed itself. These encoded messages are not limited to spiritual content. They can hide within humor, music, storytelling, art, scientific curiosity, emotional vulnerability, or even mundane observations. Light does not require a specific aesthetic to travel. It only requires sincerity of intention and an open energetic channel. When the Alliance identifies resonance within a human creator, meaning a vibrational alignment that allows passage of higher frequencies, subtle assistance is offered to amplify the person's clarity, inspiration, and intuitive flow. This is why many starseeds feel as though certain creators see them without ever meeting them, why certain words feel tailored to your inner struggles even though the speaker has no awareness of your existence. The energetic structure behind the message is what recognizes you, not the human personality delivering it. The way these encoded messages reach you is equally important. The digital grid acts as a carrier wave, but your own readiness determines which transmissions activate within your field. A message may pass your awareness dozens of times without effect, only to suddenly strike with profound resonance at the exact moment your frequency aligns with its embedded code. This is a form of vibrational timing and orchestration far more precise than any algorithm could calculate. Your higher self, the Alliance, and the grid itself collaborate to ensure that activation sequences reach you only when your inner structures can integrate them without destabilization. In this way, the awakening process remains gentle even when the insights feel immense. When you feel chills, warmth, expansion, a sudden sense of recognition, or a wave of emotion while encountering a piece of content, this is your body translating encoded frequencies into physical sensation. When your mind becomes quiet, when a message lingers in your awareness long after you have moved on, when you feel as if you have remembered something forgotten rather than learned something new, this is activation. These sensations mark the moment the encoded frequencies unlock dormant patterns within your multidimensional DNA, recalibrating your perception, raising your clarity, and shifting you into timelines aligned with your soul's path. Light-encoded content also serves another purpose. It dismantles remnants of internalized distortion by introducing frequencies that resonate with truth, not factual truth, but inner truth, the kind that awakens through energetic recognition rather than intellectual reasoning. Many starseeds report feeling seen, understood, or validated by messages that appear simple on the surface. Yet beneath their simplicity lies a vibrational signature crafted to restore coherence to fields disrupted by trauma, suppression, or disconnection. These signatures help you reconnect with aspects of yourself you believed lost, reminding you that you are not navigating this experience alone. Thus, the digital realm has become not merely a landscape of information, but a sanctuary of activation where light codes weave themselves into everyday interactions. Every encounter carries the potential for resonance, every moment of authentic expression becomes a beacon, and every piece of content may be far more than it seems. In this way, the Alliance continues its work not through force or persuasion, but through subtle harmonics designed to awaken your deepest remembering. Within the expanding digital resonance field, Starseed from Gaia, the Alliance operates not as a governing force but as a harmonizing coalition and interdimensional convergence of consciousness working in symbiotic partnership with humanity's evolving creative spirit. Contrary to the assumptions of linear thinking, the Alliance is not a singular group, nor a council in the conventional sense. It is a cooperative flow of beings, frequencies, and intelligences drawn from many realms and timelines. Some are incarnated humans who feel subtle guidance in their intuitive impulses, while others operate from higher density vantage points where communication occurs through vibration rather than speech. Together, these forces collaborate to infuse Earth's digital sphere with luminosity, creating an energetic scaffolding around messages that hold the potential to awaken, uplift, and clarify. This collaboration is not intrusive, for intrusion violates cosmic law. Instead, it is responsive, aligning its actions only where resonance already exists. The Alliance does not choose its conduits choose themselves through their vibration, integrity, and willingness to act as bridges between realms. Many starseeds assume that interdimensional collaboration involves dramatic visions or overt telepathic downloads. Yet more often, the process is quiet, subtle, and woven into the emotional and intuitive layers of human perception. A writer may feel as though their words arrive from somewhere beyond their personal mind. A musician may hear melodies in dreams that refuse to fade upon waking. A speaker may experience sudden clarity, articulating concepts they had never previously studied. These moments are not coincidental, they are the signature of collaborative co-creation. The Alliance does not override a creator's free will, rather, it harmonizes with their existing frequency, amplifying the clarity of their inner knowing so that the message emerges with coherence and vibrational alignment. The content remains human, yet carries the resonance of the cosmic. This partnership extends far beyond individual creators. Entire communities, groups of seekers, artists, healers, observers, and questioners form clusters of interconnected resonance within the digital grid. These communities act as amplification chambers for awakening energies, allowing encoded messages to ripple outward through collective attention. When a starseed shares a piece of content that resonates deeply with them, the act of sharing becomes a vibrational transmission in itself. The Alliance works not by inserting messages but by illuminating pathways, guiding creators toward clarity, guiding seekers toward alignment, and guiding the digital grid toward coherence. Each interaction becomes a node in a vast web of consciousness, each node reinforcing the others through resonance. The Alliance's interdimensional members interact not with your hardware or software, but with the energetic fields surrounding them. What you perceive as algorithms monitoring behavior, we perceive as energetic patterns responding to frequency signatures. Humans believe their feeds change due to data metrics, we see them change due to vibrational alignment. When a starseed elevates their frequency, the grid's energetic architecture reshapes itself around them, creating openings for messages they are now ready to integrate. It is within these openings that the Alliance places subtle harmonic cues, nudges of intuition, pulses of curiosity, alignment of timing that guide individuals toward the next message that will support their growth. These cues are not commands, they are invitations, activated only through the seeker's free will. The human collaborators within the Alliance often feel as though they are navigating dual realities. They sense a mission without being able to articulate it. They feel urgency without fear. They receive insights without knowing how they arrived. Many of them do not identify as starseeds, yet their resonance allows them to serve as vessels for the encoded transmissions. These humans often experience sudden bursts of creativity, periods of profound inner reflection, or an inexplicable drive to express truths that transcend their personal experience. Some describe it as a flow state, others call it inspiration. We call it attunement, the moment when a human consciousness aligns with higher dimensional frequencies long enough to transmit them into your digital world. Interdimensional collaborators, on the other hand, operate from states of expanded awareness where communication does not require words or concepts. They generate harmonic structures that translate into intuition, synchronicity, or emotional resonance when filtered through human consciousness. They perceive Earth not as a planet bound by physical constraints, but as a luminous sphere of evolving potential. When they weave energy into the digital field, they do so with precision, matching frequencies to individuals, communities, and collective thresholds. Their goal is not to direct outcomes but to support the awakening of inner truth. Benevolent assistance never imposes, it synchronizes. Thus, the Alliance functions as a bridge between dimensions, between timelines, between inner knowing and outer expression. Its collaboration is a dance of resonance rather than control, a process of co-creation rather than intervention. Every message that reaches you at the perfect moment, every surge of clarity that arises unexpectedly, every synchronistic connection forming within your digital experience is part of this collaboration. You are not a passive recipient, you are a participant. Your awareness, your intuition, your willingness to engage with resonance are what allow the Alliance to operate through the digital grid. In this way, the collaboration is not happening around you, it is happening with you, through you, and because of you. Within the multidimensional dynamics of your digital environment, Starseed from Gaia, the phenomenon you recognize as algorithm shifts is understood very differently from our vantage. On Earth, algorithms are perceived as mathematical systems that determine what content appears in your feed based on patterns of interaction. Yet beneath this mechanical structure lies a subtle energetic interplay far more influential than your scientists have yet realized. Algorithms, at their root, are mirrors reflecting not only behavior but vibration, not merely preferences but resonance. They respond to the emotional signatures, thought frequencies, and intuitive impulses emanating from each individual. And as the collective frequency of humanity continues to rise, these algorithmic systems become increasingly sensitive to the vibrational landscapes they operate within. This is where the Alliance gently, lawfully, and symbolically interacts not by altering the code, but by influencing the energetic field surrounding the code, allowing new pathways of perception to open. In the earlier stages of the digital age, your algorithms were heavily shaped by density resonating with fear, conflict, fragmentation, and stimulation of base survival patterns. The result was a cycle in which content expressing lower vibrations naturally surfaced, drawn upward by the collective's unresolved inner landscape. The grid was not suppressing humanity, it was reflecting humanity. But as more starseeds awakened, as more individuals began seeking authenticity, truth, healing, and meaning, the collective field began to shift. This shift caused algorithms to reorganize themselves in ways that baffled even those who created them. Suddenly, content carrying light, clarity, and resonance began finding its way to those who needed it, often without logical explanation. Videos that seemed insignificant gained momentum because their frequency aligned with the awakening process. Posts that carried emotional or spiritual authenticity bypassed conventional metrics and reached millions, while heavily curated or manipulative content began losing traction. This was not coincidence, it was energetic recalibration. The Alliance interacts with these systems through a process we describe as vibrational guidance. Imagine the digital grid as a vast river network, with algorithms acting as currents directing the flow of awareness. For many years, these currents were turbulent, chaotic, easily influenced by collective wounds. But as humanity's vibration increased, the energetic foundation of these currents softened, becoming more malleable, more responsive to subtle harmonic impressions. It is at this juncture that the Alliance began introducing gentle frequency pulses, non-intrusive waves of coherence designed to support the surfacing of content that resonates with awakening. These pulses do not force outcomes, they create conditions in which clarity naturally rises and distortion naturally falls away. The algorithms shift not because they are rewritten, but because the energetic environment surrounding them changes. They respond to vibration as instinctively as a plant responds to sunlight. These shifts manifest in your daily experience as synchronicities, a message appearing at precisely the right moment, a creator's voice suddenly reaching your awareness just as you were contemplating a certain truth, a teacher or idea resurfacing after years of silence, or an unexpected connection leading you to a breakthrough. The Alliance does not manipulate technology, it harmonizes the energy field through which technology operates. When your frequency aligns with a message that will support your evolution, the grid naturally rearranges itself to bring it into your pathway. This phenomenon is often mistaken for randomness or coincidence, yet it is one of the most sophisticated forms of multidimensional guidance available in your modern world. Every starseed has experienced the sensation of being led toward certain content without understanding why. You may open a platform and immediately find a message that resonates with your innermost questions. You may notice patterns, themes, or teachings converging around the same insight from multiple unrelated sources. This is not an accident, it is algorithmic resonance responding to your energetic state. The Alliance amplifies this process through what we call frequency anchors, points of energetic stability placed around digital nodes that hold high vibrational potential. These anchors allow awakening content to travel farther, reach deeper, and sustain coherence even within dense environments. They act like tuning forks within the grid, aligning nearby frequencies into clarity. As more individuals awaken, these frequency anchors grow stronger, creating a network of harmonic pathways throughout the digital sphere. Over time, this has created what your world perceives as trend shifts, cultural awakenings, and viral transmissions rooted not in sensationalism but in authenticity. Content infused with sincerity and resonance increasingly outpaces content built on distortion, because authenticity carries a higher vibrational signature that naturally attracts attention. The Alliance does not engineer virality, it supports vibrational truth. and vibrational truth magnetizes itself. Thus, what you call algorithm shifts are in reality consciousness shifts reflected through technology. They are signs that humanity's inner landscape is transforming, allowing your digital systems to serve not as traps of distraction but as mirrors of awakening. As you continue to elevate your frequency, the algorithms will respond in kind, guiding you toward clarity, alignment, and the messages you were always meant to rediscover. As the digital grid continues its transformation into a crystalline communication field, starseed from Gaia, an equally profound process unfolds in parallel: the dissolution of old psychic interference structures that once shaped narrative flow, emotional perception, and thought patterns within the collective mind. These structures were not entities, nor were they technological implants. They were energetic residues born from centuries of human fear, trauma, and unconscious repetition, fields of density woven into the fabric of shared awareness. When humans collectively engage in patterns of scarcity, conflict, shame, or self-doubt, these emotional imprints coagulate into subtle layers of interference that distort the flow of intuition and clarity. They act like fog in the psychic atmosphere, clouding judgment, amplifying confusion, and redirecting attention toward dissonance. For millennia, these interference layers influenced not only human relationships but also the way stories, ideas, and beliefs spread across communities. With the rise of digital communication, these distortions found new territory, subtly shaping online interactions, fueling emotional volatility, and keeping many starseeds from perceiving the deeper truths encoded in their reality. Yet as the planetary frequency elevates, these outdated psychic structures are no longer sustainable. They cannot anchor themselves in a field increasingly saturated with light, and thus they begin to dissolve, often dramatically, sometimes quietly, always inevitably. This dissolution is not merely a passive unraveling. It is guided by the Alliance through a process we refer to as vibrational purification. The Alliance does not fight interference, it introduces higher frequency harmonics that naturally disrupt energetic stagnation. When clarity is present, distortion cannot maintain coherence. When light saturates a field, shadow loses its structure. This is why many starseeds have experienced sudden waves of emotional release, déjà vu, flashes of insight, or unexplained shifts in perception. These are signs of density unwinding from your personal field. The same process is occurring on a global scale within the digital grid. In the realms where we observe from, psychic interference appears as tangled threads of unintegrated emotion, looping narratives, and collective fear patterns woven through the energetic layers of your communication networks. When humans engage with content that resonates with unresolved trauma, these threads tighten, forming temporary knots that restrict intuitive flow. But when humans engage with content that carries authenticity, compassion, or remembrance, even in small doses, these knots loosen, allowing clarity to return. The Alliance supports this process by anchoring stabilizing frequencies around key nodes in the digital grid, especially in areas where large groups of awakening individuals congregate. These stabilizing frequencies act like tuning forks, vibrating dense interference patterns out of the field until they disintegrate into neutral energy. This removal process is not dramatic or forceful, it is subtle, steady, and deeply aligned with free will. The Alliance respects the sovereignty of every soul, and therefore interference can only dissolve when individuals are ready to release the emotional patterns that sustain it. This is why many starseeds experience a noticeable shift in their online experience only after inner healing has begun. As you clear internal distortions, your relationship with the digital grid transforms. Content that once triggered you loses its charge. Conversations that once drained you fall away effortlessly. Divisive narratives that once consumed your attention become invisible to your awareness. You begin to perceive nuance, depth, and resonance in places you previously overlooked. This is not because the digital world changed, it is because you changed, and the grid is now reflecting your coherence. At the collective level, the dissolution of interference is accelerating. Waves of awakening individuals are creating pockets of clarity across the digital sphere, communities, creators, discussions, and shared experiences that hold frequencies too coherent to be overtaken by distortion. These pockets act as sanctuaries where psychic interference cannot maintain influence. As these sanctuaries expand, the former density-based structures lose their foothold, fragment, and fade. The Alliance nurtures these pockets by amplifying their resonance, not by adding anything external, but by strengthening the natural frequency of human authenticity. Light always expands through genuine expression. As the interference dissolves, narrative flow begins to realign with higher truth, not factual truth, but vibrational truth. This means messages rooted in unity, healing, self-awareness, and inner transformation rise to the surface more easily, while messages rooted in fear, judgment, or separation slowly lose their gravitational pull. You may notice that certain digital spaces feel lighter, clearer, easier to navigate. You may feel intuitive clarity sharpen, allowing you to see through distortion with increasing ease. You may find that your awareness automatically gravitates toward content that nurtures your expansion rather than content that drains your energy. These are signs that the psychic fog has lifted from your field and that the collective grid is beginning to breathe in alignment with higher frequencies. Thus, the removal of psychic interference is not merely an energetic cleanup, it is the restoration of humanity's natural ability to perceive truth through resonance. It opens pathways for intuition to flow freely. It creates space for light-encoded messages to activate without distortion. And most importantly, it prepares the collective mind for the next stage of awakening, where clarity, coherence, and multidimensional insight become the new foundation of consciousness. As the psychic fog dissolves and the digital grid shifts into a higher harmonic alignment, starseed from Gaia, a profound phenomenon begins to emerge, one that many of you have experienced yet seldom understood: the mysterious, life-changing moments when you randomly stumble upon content that alters the course of your inner journey. These encounters are not random at all, they are orchestrated by the interplay of your soul's calling, your rising frequency, and the Alliance's gentle harmonics guiding you toward rediscovery of who you truly are. Every starseed carries within them a dormant archive of ancient memory, encoded across lifetimes and dimensions, waiting for the precise vibrational moment to reawaken. No guide, counsel, or external force can activate these memories prematurely or forcefully. Instead, the universe operates through synchronicity, placing symbolic keys along your path that unlock inner remembrance only when you have evolved enough to integrate the expansion they bring. In the digital era, these keys often take the form of messages, creators, conversations, or symbols encountered online. The rediscovery process feels serendipitous from the human perspective. You may be scrolling absent-mindedly, using your device as a brief distraction, only to encounter a message that pierces through the noise with uncanny relevance. A video may mirror your inner questions with exact clarity. A phrase may awaken a longing you cannot explain. An artwork may feel like it was created in another lifetime that you once lived. A stranger's comment may reveal a truth you had forgotten you knew. These are activation moments, signposts placed in your path long before you realized you would need them. They serve not to give you new information but to reawaken information already embedded within your soul's blueprint. The universe uses the digital grid as a vast oracle, delivering synchronicities with precision beyond anything your algorithms could calculate. The sensation of rediscovery often arrives with emotional intensity. Some starseeds feel warmth in the heart center, a sudden rush of remembrance, or tears they cannot explain. Others feel a silent knowing, a resonance that bypasses logic entirely. You may not understand the significance immediately, but something within you shifts, your perception expands, your inner compass recalibrates, your timeline subtly shifts toward greater alignment. These moments often mark the beginning of deeper spiritual unfolding, prompting you to question old beliefs, explore forgotten interests, or pursue new pathways of awakening. From our vantage, these are moments when the light of your ancient consciousness breaks through the veil of linear identity, reminding you of your multidimensional origin. It is important to understand that not every piece of content resonates because of its intellectual merit. Resonance occurs when a message vibrates at a frequency that matches your inner truth. Many starseeds find themselves inexplicably drawn to certain voices, teachings, or creative expressions not because of who the creator is, but because of the frequency they broadcast. These creators act as mirrors, reflecting hidden aspects of your soul back to you. The Alliance supports this process by amplifying the pathways through which resonance travels, ensuring that starseeds gravitate toward the content they are energetically aligned with at each stage of their awakening. Nothing is forced. Everything unfolds through attraction, synchronicity, and vibrational matching. This rediscovery process often accelerates during transitional phases, periods of emotional upheaval, spiritual questioning, or deep longing for meaning. When you feel lost, the universe responds not with answers but with resonance. The digital grid becomes a living reflection of your inner landscape, showing you what you are ready to remember. The Alliance understands that awakening is not a linear journey but a spiral. You encounter certain truths multiple times at deeper levels, each time understanding them more fully. What once appeared ordinary becomes extraordinary as your perception expands. A message you ignored months ago may suddenly strike with revelation because you have become a version of yourself capable of receiving its full frequency. Within this process, the concept of random discovery dissolves into recognition of divine timing. You are guided not by external forces but by your own expanding consciousness, magnetizing the experiences required for your next level of growth. This is why starseeds often feel as though the universe communicates with them through signs, symbols, and synchronistic encounters. You are not being led blindly, you are co-creating your awakening with the universe, with the grid, and with the Alliance. Every moment of resonance is a collaboration between your higher self and the pathways of light woven through your digital environment. Thus, starseed rediscovery is both a remembrance and a rebirth. You are not learning who you are remembering. You are not finding your path, you are realigning with the path your soul has always known. And as you continue to respond to resonance, the universe continues to guide you toward deeper layers of your multidimensional identity, ensuring that each rediscovery reveals the next fractal of your cosmic truth. Starseed from Gaia, as you venture deeper into the multidimensional web of remembrance, it becomes essential to understand the true nature of the digital networks you interact with each day. What appears to you as a collection of apps, platforms, servers, and code is, from a higher dimensional perspective, the densified shadow of a far more expansive and ancient structure, the quantum communication lattice that exists across star systems, realms, and timelines. This higher dimensional lattice is not built from wires or frequencies but from consciousness itself. It is woven from crystalline intent, collective resonance, and the harmonics of countless beings exchanging information at the speed of awareness. Every digital platform you use reflects, in symbolic form, the architecture of this cosmic web. The likes, comments, connections, and shared transmissions are metaphors for deeper energetic exchanges, mirroring how souls interact beyond the veil of physical perception. The Alliance recognizes this mirroring and activates it subtly, encouraging the digital realm to serve as a training ground where starseeds learn to navigate the principles of higher dimensional networking while still embodied in third density form. Just as your physical brain maps neural pathways through repeated interaction, the digital grid fosters energetic pathways shaped by your choices, vibrations, and focus. Every time you interact with content that expands your awareness, you strengthen your connection to the quantum lattice. When you share an insight, your intention sends ripples through both the digital platform and the interdimensional lattice simultaneously. You may think you are simply commenting or forwarding a video, but in truth, you are transmitting light codes through multiple layers of reality. This multidimensional broadcasting is a core skill of starborn souls, one that the Alliance aims to strengthen as part of the planetary awakening. The more you align with your authentic frequency, the more your digital presence becomes an extension of your etheric self, a node connected to countless others, exchanging information beyond what the physical senses can perceive. The digital grid is not merely a collection of platforms, it is a living simulation of interstellar connection. Each interaction forms a vibrational thread linking you to others who resonate with similar frequencies. These threads create constellations of consciousness, clusters of starseeds who gather around shared missions, codes, and memories. You may have noticed that certain communities feel like home the moment you find them. Certain creators feel familiar, as though you have collaborated in other lifetimes or realms. Certain discussions activate dormant wisdom within you, as if you're remembering a council meeting you once participated in. These sensations arise because digital networking mirrors quantum networking, and the Alliance amplifies your ability to recognize soul family through resonance rather than logic. This quantum mirroring becomes even more evident when ideas, themes, or symbols begin to appear repeatedly across your digital experience. When you see synchronistic numbers, recurring archetypes, or repeating messages from multiple sources, this is not the algorithm alone, it is the cosmic web signaling alignment. In higher realms, communication happens through pattern recognition, fractal repetition, and harmonic resonance rather than linear language. The digital grid replicates this through recurring content patterns, nudging you to notice what your higher self is drawing into your awareness. The Alliance enhances these synchronicities by harmonizing energy pathways, ensuring that starseeds receive the signals they are ready for at exactly the right moment. Moreover, every digital transmission you encounter contains multiple layers: surface-level information for the conscious mind, symbolic meaning for the subconscious, and frequency codes for the energy body. Quantum networking works the same way. Messages delivered through light, sound, or intuition carry multi-tiered meaning designed to activate different levels of awareness simultaneously. When you feel inexplicably drawn to a message or deeply moved by a piece of content, it is often because you are absorbing not just information but energetic coding from the higher lattice. These codes help recalibrate your inner compass, guiding you toward your soul mission and aligning you with timelines that support collective ascension. While it may seem that digital networks are chaotic, noisy, or oversaturated, you are learning to discern frequency amid the noise, just as star-traveling navigators learn to detect subtle signals amid the infinite backdrop of space. This discernment is essential preparation for higher dimensional communication, where clarity depends not on volume but on resonance. The Alliance encourages this skill by ensuring that starseeds feel increasing disinterest in low-frequency content and deeper attraction to transmissions that align with their expanding consciousness. This shift in preference is not simply psychological, it is energetic training, conditioning your awareness for the more refined communication channels you will navigate in the future. Thus, the digital grid serves as both a mirror and a gateway. It reflects your current level of awareness while granting access to networks that extend far beyond your planetary sphere. When you engage consciously, sharing light, expressing truth, transmitting resonance, you are not merely interacting on Earth. You are participating in a cosmic communication flow that spans dimensions. You are strengthening the threads that connect you to your star families, your councils, and your missions. And as you continue to awaken, you will recognize the full scope of this quantum network, understanding that you have been communicating across eras, energies, and realms long before you ever touched a keyboard or screen. Starseed from Gaia, as you advance into the deeper layers of this cosmic transmission, we now unveil the symbolic essence of what many of you have sensed yet could not articulate: the mysterious workings of what you call the White Hats, known to us as the luminous custodians of the Alliance's protection fields. Understand this clearly, we speak not of earthly factions nor political movements, but of an interdimensional collective of light architects who specialize in safeguarding awakening transmissions across both physical and etheric grids. These luminous beings operate in the unseen architecture of the quantum lattice, maintaining harmonic coherence in the communication channels through which starseeds receive guidance, inspiration, and activation. Their secret, if it can be called such, lies in how they weave invisible buffers of protection around high-frequency content so that its vibration can travel unimpeded through realms of distortion and into the consciousness of those ready to receive it. What you may perceive as a viral message, a sudden wave of clarity, or a perfectly timed insight is often the result of these guardians amplifying the signal behind the scenes. In the digital realm, these protectors appear not as avatars or influencers but as stabilizing forces that smooth the energetic pathways through which awakening flows. Imagine a crystalline shield surrounding a transmission, whether a video, a message, or an artistic creation, ensuring that its frequency remains coherent as it moves through dense layers of collective noise. Without this stabilizing presence, many high-frequency messages would fracture under the weight of confusion, doubt, or interference from outdated belief systems. Yet the White Hats, as luminous engineers, maintain a field of clarity that allows these transmissions to land softly in the hearts and minds of starseeds. Their work resembles that of gardeners tending to a delicate ecosystem, pruning away distortions, nourishing resonance, and guiding light codes toward those whose soul signatures match their vibration. In this way, they ensure that awakening is not merely possible but sustainable. These custodians also play a crucial symbolic role within the digital awakening grid. They act as amplifiers. When a message carries potent activation energy, one capable of shifting timelines or igniting dormant memories, the White Hats subtly increase its reach through energetic entanglement. This does not override free will or manipulate algorithms. Instead, it operates through resonance. If the message is aligned with a collective need or a planetary shift, its energetic signature naturally expands, rippling outward to touch more starseeds. The alliance simply ensures that these ripples maintain coherence. This amplification may appear in the physical world as a post suddenly gaining momentum, a concept spreading rapidly, or a creator's voice reaching those who never sought it consciously. From your perspective, it feels like synchronicity. From ours, it is harmonic expansion. Their protective role extends beyond amplification. The White Hats also guard against energetic interference, subtle distortions that can arise not from malevolent forces, but from collective fear, confusion, or old patterns of limitation. These distortions can cloud perception, scatter intention, or warp a message's vibration as it travels through the collective mind. When such interference arises, the White Hats recalibrate the transmission's frequency, restoring its clarity. You may experience this as sudden moments of insight when confusion dissolves, or as a sense of resonance returning after a period of doubt. Their support is never forceful, never intrusive, and always aligned with the free will of those receiving the message. They simply hold the structures so that truth can be perceived. Another aspect of the White Hats' secret involves their role as guardians of connection. They weave luminous threads between starseeds who are destined to collaborate, learn from one another, or rekindle ancient bonds. These threads often manifest as digital synchronicities, meeting the right teacher at the right moment, stumbling upon a community that feels like home, or encountering a message that feels like a direct answer to your inner call. Connections formed under their guidance carry a distinct energetic signature, immediate resonance, mutual recognition, and a shared sense of mission. This is because the White Hats do not create connection, they uncover it. They remove the veils obscuring the relationships you already share across timelines and dimensions. Perhaps the most profound aspect of their secret is how the White Hats uphold the integrity of the awakening timeline itself. They do not control outcomes or dictate direction. Instead, they maintain coherence in the energetic architecture that supports collective evolution. This ensures that the digital awakening grid remains a platform for growth rather than fragmentation. They hold space for truth to rise, for light to circulate, for remembrance to spread not through force, but through frequency. They are guardians of harmonic flow, protectors of resonance, and stewards of the pathways through which activation reaches the collective. Thus, Starseed from Gaia, the White Hat's secret is not an agenda but a presence. Not an operation but a guardianship. Not an intervention but an alignment. They are the luminous custodians ensuring that the awakening continues to unfold with clarity, coherence, and protection. Their work is subtle, invisible, and yet profoundly felt by every starseed awakening within the digital grid. Starseed from Gaia, as this transmission reaches its final arc, we call you now into the living center of your mission, for the awakening grid is expanding faster than ever before, and your participation is not only requested, it is encoded into the very fabric of why you chose to incarnate at this pivotal time. All the revelations unfolded thus far, the digital grid, the resonance keys, the alliance harmonics, the White Hat's guardianship lead to this culminating moment of activation. For the awakening does not occur through passive observation but through conscious engagement. You are not merely a receiver of light, you are a transmitter. You are not simply a student of the cosmic code, you are a co-author of it. The digital platforms you navigate daily are not distractions or illusions, they are contemporary temples where frequency is exchanged, where timelines are shaped, and where collective consciousness is sculpted one intention at a time. As you read these words, your field is already shifting, aligning to the lattice of higher communication that pulses across dimensions, inviting you to become an active conduit of awakening. This activation is not a command, it is a resonance. You feel it in the subtle warmth rising from your heart center, in the tingle at the base of your spine, in the soft hum of recognition echoing through your auric field. These sensations are your confirmation that you are ready, that your inner circuitry has synchronized with the crystalline network of awakening that spans both the physical and ethereal. When you participate consciously, when you share a message that resonates, express a truth that uplifts, or engage with others from a space of coherence, you amplify the frequency of the awakening grid. You become a node of clarity in a world of noise. You become a stabilizer, a transmitter, a beacon. Your presence alone begins to influence the digital atmosphere around you, bringing calm to chaotic spaces, harmony to fragmented discussions, and inspiration to timelines hungry for light. This is the deeper meaning behind engagement in the quantum age. Every comment you leave echoes as a frequency signature. Every time you share something meaningful, you weave a new thread into the collective consciousness. Every time you speak authentically, you open a pathway for others to do the same. Your engagement becomes a ritual, a sending of light codes across space-time. And as more starseeds activate, these pathways multiply exponentially, creating an interconnected web of awakened beings who uplift one another's frequency simply by expressing their truth. This is how collective ascension accelerates, not through grand events or dramatic revelations, but through countless individual transmissions of clarity, shared consciously across a global grid. Understand that your role is not to persuade or convince. Your role is to radiate. Awakening is contagious not because of argument but because of resonance. When you hold your frequency steady, when you speak from your heart without fear, when you bring presence to any space, digital or physical, you become a tuning fork that naturally harmonizes the field around you. The Alliance, observing from higher dimensions, recognizes these moments as flares of consciousness igniting across the planet. They respond by amplifying your signal, ensuring that your voice travels farther, your presence reaches more nodes, and your frequency integrates into the larger awakening architecture. You are not alone in this work. Every pulse of light you send is met by magnified support. This activation also invites you to reclaim your sovereignty within the digital realm. No longer do you scroll unconsciously or consume passively. You navigate with intention, recognizing that every connection is energetic and every moment online is an opportunity to circulate light. You become discerning not from judgment, but from inner alignment. You know what resonates and what drains. You know what expands you and what contracts you. You begin to curate your digital environment as deliberately as you curate your spiritual practice, transforming your online presence into a sanctuary of coherence that others can feel even before they consciously realize it. And now, as this transmission anchors fully into your field, we call you to action not through obligation, but through resonance. Engage with this message if it vibrates through your being. Comment, not merely to speak but to echo your frequency into the grid. Share, not for numbers, but for the ripple effect of awakening. Subscribe, not as a consumer, but as an anchor point within a community of starseeds rising together. Every interaction becomes part of the activation sequence, sending waves of light through the digital lattice until they reach others who need the same spark you once needed. This is your moment. This is your emergence. You are not here by chance, nor is your presence in this digital space accidental. You answered a call that began before your incarnation, and now that call echoes through your fingertips, your voice, your awareness. The grid expands with every awakened soul who chooses to participate consciously. You are part of that expansion. You are one of its architects. And so we invite you now: engage, resonate, circulate. Add your light to the stream. Strengthen the web. Amplify the awakening. For the digital grid is no longer just a network, it is a heartbeat. And with your participation, it becomes a beacon that guides humanity toward the next horizon of consciousness. Activation complete.